All right, we are live early for once. That's a first. I am going to be talking about today. We are talking all about SEMRush, specifically for their new social media analytics capabilities. Well, let me make sure that this isn't going to do anything funky here. Yeah, so SEMrush is now doing social media stuff, and I knew they'd been doing it for a while. Chris, thanks for joining. I knew they'd been doing it for a while. I just actually went in and checked some of the things out, and I'm pretty impressed, so I'm excited to bring that to you guys. Fark, thanks for jumping in. I know Militia's in here. Thank you, everybody, for hopping in here today. So just as always, before we get started, major shout out to Streamyard for powering this and allowing me to multi-stream to Periscope, Facebook, and YouTube all at once. They're the best. If you're interested, I should have a link somewhere that you guys can go and try it out yourself. So without further ado, let's start talking about SEMrush. Militia, thanks for joining. Glad to see that you're here today. So I'm going to pull in this screen. If you guys have any questions, make sure that you drop those in the comments and we can answer some of those for you. Herbert, thanks for joining. Okay, so my first interactions with SEMrush, like most people's, I'd imagine, is using their SEO capabilities. So things like their domain overview and keyword research and all sorts of things, rank tracking, reporting, site audits, things of that nature. And, you know, that's awesome. I usually use Moz for that though. So I never really needed SEMrush unless I had a client that was using it. SEMrush recently gifted me a guru plan so that I could play around with it and give them some feedback and things of that nature. So I came in here to start playing with things, and I knew that they had put in content marketing and some social media stuff. And I was really interested just to see what it looks like. So you can see that now they don't just have the SEO and advertising, now there's social media. And so if you click on that, you can go to your social media dashboard and it just pulls up whatever social platforms you're tracking. So if you're a social media manager, this might have multiple different, this might have multiple clients and profiles in here. For me, I just have mine set up. And you can see they just recently started supporting ads. So you can do Facebook ads through here. And they have integrations with Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. Their Pinterest integration isn't working right now. I tried to connect that. But let's say you're starting from scratch. I can just hit new project. You put in the domain. So that's actually how it's going out and pulling all of these. And then obviously you have to verify that you own those profiles so that they can give you all of the analytics in SEMrush. So you would just put it in here, and then it starts to pull in these and you verify. So through here though, I can schedule posts, which, you know, there are a lot of posting tools out there now. I've not used their poster yet because obviously you guys know me, I was more interested in the numbers. So when I look at this tracker, it shows me my social profiles, largest to smallest as far as followers and subscribers go. So you can see most everybody knows that I'm far more active on Twitter than I am on any of these other platforms that they're tracking. It shows me how many posts I sent out in the last 30 days and what the engagement was on those posts. Then it shows me top content by engagement. So if we remember when we went through like Twitter, it pulls top content based on just impressions. And you know, every platform is different. This one is by default, it's by engagement. but you can change it to engagement rate, which is what I would prefer it to be. But then obviously you have to look and see how many impressions there were, etc. So you can toggle this, and it shows you that piece of content and how many engagements there were and what the engagement rate was. Militia said, I use their poster every single day. It's actually not bad. Still prefer Sprout, but we're too cheap for that. Yeah, so for me, when people come and ask for like what tools they should be paying for SEM or for digital marketing, SEMRush is one of the first that comes to mind because of the fact that it is so versatile. But you also have to remember, if it's a really wide range tool, that there will be some features missing in specific areas, right? So they might miss the mark on a few things when it comes to social, but the fact that you can pay, less for SEMrush than you do for Sprout Social and handle SEO tracking and handle, whatever tracking is pretty impressive. Then we get down to this part, which I thought was just really interesting. To me, this is really cool. So you come down here and it has your comparison with competitors. So you can actually set up competitors that you watch and see how they compare to you. So this is the audience tab. I can do to activity. So I've sent out more Facebook posts than Brian Fanzo apparently has. At this time, he has so many different accounts, so that's probably not even true. And then you can see the engagement, and you could do this. You can have as many competitors as you want in here. To do that, you just scroll up to the top and go to settings, and then it shows you how many companies. So you can have up to 21 companies, but that includes competitors. So like if you have 5 companies and each of them are tracking 4 competitor or 3 competitors, that's 20 companies right there. And you can only track up to 100 social profiles. I think you can upgrade that, I'd imagine, but that's not really necessary for me at this point. So you can see I can come in here and edit. So this is his iSocial Fans Facebook. I could pull in his Brian Fanzo Speaker Facebook if I wanted to instead. His iSocial Fans Twitter account, and his iSocial Fans YouTube account. And then you can see that these are all my company pages as well. I didn't pull in LinkedIn or anything of that just because I didn't feel the need to. You can pick your time zone, and you can also send these reports. So what we were just looking at was the overview. We can have those emailed to us weekly or monthly. You can also have the audience and engagement reports sent to you weekly or monthly. So that this is just like the overview though, right? So you have audience activity engagement for competitive down there at the bottom. Then we can go into each specific platform. If I look at Facebook, I choose my company. This one's mine. And then it shows me all the posts in the last 30 days, their engagements, engagement rate, and then what specific engagements there were. So on Facebook, I really only post that I'm going to be going live and then the live video itself. So there's not a ton to look at here. But I can look at the audience, and there's not anything pulling through because I don't have a big enough audience is going to be my guess, because I think you usually have to have 100 people for it to pull through. And then you see the activity. So posts over the last 30 days versus the previous 30 days. And then it gives you posts per day and for the 30 days and the previous 30 days. This is similar to Sprout, Militia. I know that these were stats that they pulled as well. It shows you your post types and their performance by post type, day of the week that things were published, and when people are engaging. And this is compared with Brian Fanzo. So you can see he has like a black dotted line through here. And then you see the publishing trend. And then my publishing trend versus Brian's publishing trend. And then number of posts per days, and what they're posting. So like Brian posted one photo and one video. I posted just links and videos, no photos. So, but if I wanted to see Brian's comparison, I just toggle over to Brian, and now it's pulling through his posts when he published on average versus when I published on average, right? So it just flips those, so that instead of just focusing on my stuff, I become the dotted line and he becomes the like main information. Then we have engagement broken down by engagement type. So reaction, shares, comments. Remember, this is all just Facebook. You have the change, the different reactions you get. So likes, loves, blah, blah, blahs. And again, it shows Brian's information in here as well. Hashtags, I used one hashtag, analytics, and it just shows me how often I use that and the engagement per post. And there's not a lot of information on here because I don't have very many I don't have very many followers or whatever. So Militia says, yeah, SEMRush competitor analysis is amazing. Love them for that. I only wish I could pull reports for longer than rolling 28 days. Does it not let you do that? Well, this just pulls 90 days. If you click on the dates up here, or are you talking about for competitors? Well, it didn't pull anything for him for Twitter or for that. Pulls this. I guess I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, Militia. If you want to drop that in the comments, we can see if we can figure it out. I'm going to change this back to 30 days. Okay, Twitter. So this has all of my tweets that have gone out. The engagement rates. I will say one thing that I'm not sure. I don't know why they didn't bring in impressions. I guess you could estimate based on the engagement rate. But yeah, that's kind of interesting to me. Oh, so it's her membership level. So on the membership, they do 7 or 28 days. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But yeah, no impressions on here. You can also, if you're not sure like what these posts say, you can go to the actual posts on Twitter. So you can see that now this has pulled up this specific tweet. Or I can just expand it and it shows the whole tweet right here as well. Let's see. I can filter by hashtag or post type. So all of the links, I can pull all those links in. These are all the hashtags I used. So I can pull in everything from the CM World chat and how those performed, right? Again, to me, these, I don't know. I love having all this information in one place where I can pull and interact with the data. So these are the followers trends. So this is from I connected it. So you'll see there's not a ton of data. Because you see I just connected it on Monday or something like that. So not too much to report here. Again, activity, it's the same thing that you see on Facebook. So you have your number of tweets that go out per day versus last period, what you sent out, their engagement rate. So it looks like I actually had a higher engagement rate during this period on just, or engagement per tweet on just statuses, which are just text. And then my engagement rate was also highest on those as well. publishing, so you can see when I'm sending what out. You can see it versus Brian. I must have pulled in the wrong Twitter account for him. He's got like 1 billion. Daily, we could see weekly. So the week of October 26th to November 1st, it looks like I just didn't have a lot links or photos or anything to share. It was just straight up statuses, which is fine. Let's see. Then we can go to engagement. So this again has the engagement types. You can see my engagements, likes and retweets went up over the previous 30 days, but replies did go down. Engagement trend. I can change this from total engagement to retweets to replies. Hashtags. So again, I use hashtags a lot more on Twitter. And so you can see the number of times I use those hashtags and how they were engaged with, right? People who mentioned me. So this is a big one to me, to see who has mentioned me, who, and which one of those, or which of those people have the biggest following and how often are they mentioning me. So some of these I know, because I was like, well, why did, let's see, this person mention me? And if I show the mention, it shows it's because we were talking during SEMRush chat. So, and then it shows me the engagements and what kind of engagements there were with those tweets. But again, you know, remember when you see these top mentions and engagements, or people that are engaging with you, then those are the people that you want to tap into and try and form a relationship with, because they obviously have big followings. And so, you know, if you're a brand using this, those might be people that you want to do influencer deals with, because they might be more receptive with it, assuming that they were good interactions and not bad ones. And then I can see Brian, who mentioned Brian, Ann Hanley, naturally. Those were mentioners, and then I can see the mentions for him and how those engagements and likes were. Change it back to me. And then change it to all profiles, which I've not done that on any of these other views. I think you can do it on all of these. No. Okay. So no, just on those mentions. Interesting. Instagram, I'd imagine, is pretty similar to Twitter. YouTube, I don't post that often on YouTube. I just do these lives, and it just pulls through, you know, the stats. So I only have 3 videos during that time. And I think the API only allows you to do 30 days. We can try. Yeah, it only pulls for 30 days. So you can see how many views there were, comments, likes and dislikes, what have you. But again, I really just find it interesting that you pull a lot of the same data for your competitors. So you can really see like what's working for them, what should you maybe be considering. And then if I go in here to analytics, and I click on that, then it shows me like when I'm posting, when my audience is most online, when they are the most active. Again, I don't have a ton of Facebook followers, so I don't get the majority of this. I don't even have 100, so I think I have like 96. So I'm not going to get a ton of data here, but it does show me this, which I really like. When are my fans online? And it looks like these are actually, well, why does that say Thursday? Because I don't post on Thursdays. I post on Fridays. Huh, I don't know. Oh, wow, you can actually click on it and create a post for that time. That's really cool. That's awesome. Wow. That's really nifty. Let's see, mentions. This is on Facebook, my mentions. People have mentioned me. Who I'm mentioned with. That's interesting. I wonder if I can click on these. Oh, okay. It takes me to their Facebook pages. Page likes. So you get to see how that works. Like, yeah, 95. I have 95 page likes, so that's cool. They do track on here, though, if you've lost page likes. And interestingly, if you go to, is it engagements or posts? I saw this. Engagement, we had impressions, reach. So again, you know, you've got all this good stuff. You see the negative action. So again, this is something that Sprout tracks that I used to be really impressed with, because this helps you determine sentiment and really like whether or not people are liking your posts. It shows you when your posts were published, so then you can, you know, see, which is really nice actually. So you can see how those spikes align with when you posted. But I guess then when you go to post, it says posts that upset people. So that's really interesting to me. Then you can see your post types and how those, you know, this has the different like likes, views, or like reach. So that's interesting. So they have reach up here, but they don't show you reach anywhere else that I've noticed. Maybe I've missed it. But I've not seen it. So this is by engagement. You can do it by impressions. So I can see the video views, shares, negative actions, if there are any, clicks, if there are any, impressions and reach. Okay, so here's reach. So interesting. So it's their organic impressions. It also pulls through paid. So you can see kind of that split, right? But I haven't seen that anywhere else. Maybe I'll see it. Okay, well, I don't have any of these other things. I tried this, like, to connect to Twitter, but I don't think they support social analytics for Twitter because it's not up here. And LinkedIn analytics is coming soon, apparently. So there's that. But yeah, this is pretty, I mean, to me, I was thoroughly impressed because, like I said, I usually just, I don't know. I was not expecting it's the competitive for me. It's that competitive research component that was, okay. So you're able to track Twitter. I don't know why mine wasn't pulling through. Because when I went here, it's not letting me. But I mean, I get Twitter in other places. I just wasn't seeing it there for some reason. I get it here in the tracker, just not in analytics. So I don't know. That's weird. But that competitive analysis, and I think that's something that's so big for social media that people tend to overlook is, what are your competitors doing? And if you can get that information on your competitors, a lot of that information, you know, at a glance, like, are there posts, videos, or posts, videos, photos, links performing better? How often are they posting? Are they posting at a specific time? Are they posting out on a specific day? And, you know, looking at all of that, that to me is a big opportunity, because social media can be so hard, and it's hard to constantly find new content, find content that's actually going to resonate with people. And by using those competitive analysis tools, you can go, oh, this page had, you know, really high engagement on this one specific post. What was that post? How can we recreate it and use it in a way that's going to benefit us on social media, if that makes sense at all? Okay, Melissa says, yes, analytics, I always have to pull natively, not in SEMRush, which, yeah, that, I guess that makes sense. It looks like you can also, let me pull this back up real quick. It looks like you can also have PDFs of different, create custom PDF report. So you can create, that's right, because they have a report builder. I knew that, but let's see what social stuff I can pull in here. Brand monitoring, no. Social media. Okay, so, okay, it pulled that for Twitter. Show all. So those are all that. Social media toolkit general. So this is, they do have a drag and drop report builder, which I've always thought was really nice compared to previous period. Okay, so this is going to pull. Oh, that's just the information. Okay, overview. And you set all the parameters for each. Oh, pretty spiffy. And if you pay for it, you can white label all of this. So I could put my logo in here and then just do it this way. Competitor comparison. Compare with all competitors. Interesting. Over 7 days. Distribution by type. Yeah, so you can just create your own reports here, and then you can put in text, right? So if we had something to say about this, or we wanted to add our own headings, what have you. So you would create that. Oh, they have themes now. That's new. That is new. Oh, okay. So it says you have to upgrade. That's fine. So you would save that, and then you could have it emailed to you or your clients, or both, weekly or monthly, I believe. You can also export all of the information into a CSV file, which, you know, you're able to manipulate data a lot better. Let me see. I'll stop sharing this screen so I can bring in a different one. Select a screen to share. Here we are. Okay, so let's see. So you could see all of my tweets, the different URLs. So I can go to the URLs, the engagement, likes, retweets, and replies. So if there are like specific charts that you wanted to make, you could make them there pretty easily. Yeah, so if you guys, like I said, if you have any questions, go ahead and drop those in the comments. But I would suggest going and seeing what SEMRush is about, especially if you are a digital marketer, you're working on a budget, you have to do SEO, SEM, social, all of those things, because I've been there. This is definitely your all-in-one digital marketing platform if you're interested in it, or if you're interested in using one. And as somebody who likes analytics, I was pretty impressed by that, because it's a lot less having to go and pull. You know, there are still things that you're going to need to go pull on your own. Like we went over some of the things, like impressions don't come through, reach doesn't come through. Some of the big things that you might need from, you know, that kind of standpoint, video views, video average duration, you know, those more granular details, you might need to go in platform to pull those. But if you're just looking for something that's going to give you like a quick and easy overview, you can build your own reports and, you know, have them scheduled to go to you or your clients or what have you. It's definitely a lot better off, especially with those sentiment. I still can't get over that. The fact that they're pulling in the, like, it's not sentiment because they don't use the machine learning and AI to like determine the sentiment, but they do bring in like those negative actions and stuff like that so that you can see all that in one place. But all right, well, it looks like nobody else has any more questions or comments. Thanks for hanging out today. I will see you guys next week. If you have a suggestion on what we should cover, go ahead and leave those in comments. But, or not next week. Next week, spend time with your family. I will not be going live next Friday, so it'll be the Friday after that. So everybody have a good couple weeks, and I'll see you soon. Don't forget, you're a beast.